I love my cat, guys, and if you've been watching this channel for the past couple days, you know that. So today, I am going to be bringing you the ultimate Cheshire Cat guide, because I know a lot of you guys got him, and a lot of you guys may be wondering how to build him, so I'm going to bring you my thoughts in this video. I am Felrus, sailing the seas of Raid Shadow Legends today. So, this is the Cheshire Cat. This is the Cheshire Cat. We're going to be going over what he does. When I first read his kit, I was kind of like, meh, okay, he's a damage dealer, that's cool, that's fine, whatever. Well, this champion has exceeded my expectations drastically, so stick around to the end of the video if you want to see everything that this champion is capable of. Guys, let's go over his kit. On the A1, attacks one enemy if this champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil, attacks all enemies instead, places a Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 1 turn. Damage is based on attack and speed, and that will be the case for every other skill in this guy's kit. All right, on the A2, attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit will decrease the enemy's speed by 1%, stacks up to 10%. This effect does not work against bosses. Each hit will also increase this champion's speed by 1%, stacks up to 10%. If this skill kills an enemy, places Perfect Veil on this champion and the ally with the lowest turn meter for 2 turns. Again, damage based on attack and speed, on a 4-turn cooldown, unbooked, 3-turn cooldown, booked. All right, on the A3 here, Grinning Helix. By the way, the animation of this skill is just absolutely awesome. On a 4-turn cooldown, booked, attacks all enemies before attacking, places Perfect Veil and increase attack on this champion for 2 turns, grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. Super spicy for Arena. Once again, the damage is based on attack and speed. He's got a self buff. He's got the Perfect Veil. He's got the Perfect Veil on all of his skills, which is super important as we will see when we are evaluating the passive. All right, on the passive, Shadow Smile. The active effect is on a 3-turn cooldown here, which is pretty interesting for some content as we will see later in the video, guys. All right, passive effect. If this champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil, turn meter fill effects are 30% more effective. Whoa. Run him in a speed team in Arena. Guys, 30% more effective on your turn meter fills. He does need to take a turn if he is the only source of Perfect Veil on your team. However, any time after he takes a turn, that turn meter bonus is going to apply. All right. If this champion is under a Veil or Perfect Veil buff, this champion's attacks will ignore 15% of the target's defense and inflict 15% more damage. Now, this is just something for me personally. This is the only champion I've got on my entire roster that has any sort of ignore defense built into his kit. So that's super special for me. Maybe for you guys, you have other champions who have that, but for me, that's something that I can definitely capitalize on. And also, he has a 15% damage boost when he is under Veil or Perfect Veil. Once again, potentially veiling himself on all of his abilities, guys, and definitely veiling himself on that A1. And as you can see, the A1 is an absolutely essential part of his kit for reasons that we will see later. All right, active effect. Whenever this champion is about to receive a fatal hit that would drop their HP below 20%, blocks the incoming damage and places a block damage and Perfect Veil buff on this champion for 1 turn. Okay, so the way this works is if he receives any hit, he will block all of the incoming damage. He will not block it, all the damage until he reaches 20% HP. Like, he will block all the incoming damage. If he gets hit with a fatal hit and he's at full health, he'll block all that damage and stay at full health with the block damage. This also works if he is under block buffs. So if he's under block buffs, the passive will just block the damage and he won't receive the block damage, which is pretty darn cool. Really good in Arena, actually. He can't get one shot effectively every 3 turns. Now, as you can see, this will be super important, not only in Arena, but in some dungeons, as we will once again see later. All right, what kind of blessing did I go on him? I had Heaven Cast on him, but I decided to switch the Soul Reap to do some testing here. And Soul Reap basically just kills things when they drop below a certain HP threshold. You may see where this is going, guys. You may see where this is going. And also, he has a 19% speed aura for all battles. Not the best in the game, not the worst in the game. Pretty mid aura, but a very, very useful aura. All right. As far as masteries go, how did I do this? Well, I went down the offense tree in order to pick up Helm Smasher, once again, getting that extra 25% ignore defense. I also went down the support tree. Now, I had a bit of an interesting thought process here. So because his damage is based on attack and speed, I picked up Whirlwind of Death here, which increases his speed by 6 for each enemy killed by this champion, up to 18 speed. He only needs to kill 3 enemies for this to fully stack. I also went with Spirit Haste, which is an interesting mastery to go for on a nuker. Increases speed by 8 for each dead ally, stacks up to 24. However, with the Soul Reap, you may see where this is going and why I chose Spirit Haste. Also, for those little times in Hydra when half your team is dead, it gives him a little speed boost, which will give him a damage boost, all of that kind of stuff. He'll be taking more turns. The way the speed works in his kit is it's actually his multiplier. So his multiplier is based on his speed. So as he's killing things and as his allies are dying, he's ramping his multipliers. And that is super, super powerful as well. I also picked up Lore of Steel because we're going to be using at least one speed set on this guy, as well as rapid response for any time that block damage or perfect veil expires on him, or the increased attack. He does have increased attack. Lasting gifts as well for the A1 so that we can potentially use the A2, get a 2-turn perfect veil instead of a 1-turn perfect veil. Then we won't fall off under veil if we use the A2 for a turn. I also went Lay on Hands, increases the value of heals this champion casts by 5%, which is a really odd mastery, but I also took Life Drinker here over on the offense side, which heals by 5% of damage inflicted when attacking with 50% HP or less. I cannot confirm that Lay on Hands works with Life Drinker. However, it seemed like a really good option to go for. I also did not take the accuracy because he doesn't have any debuffs in his kit, so I went with Steadfast, which gives him an extra 810 max HP. Pretty nifty because he is a very squishy champion. All right, anything else I did? I went Cycle of Violence as well to decrease his cooldowns. Once again, I don't have him booked. Probably won't book him. I don't know. I have a thing with not booking damage dealers, but you know, he's probably worth the books if you guys are willing to invest in the champion. And then, of course, Methodical increases the damage inflicted by this champion's default skill by 2% each time it is used in a battle, up to 10%. Because his A1 is so strong, Methodical was a great choice because he's going to be using it a lot, and it is potentially best skill in his entire kit. So, but once again, ending with Helm Smasher here for the extra 25% ignore defense. All right, anything else? Once again, I said we went with Soul Reap. And then for the relic, I was lucky enough to pull the Cat's Gaze. Okay, so we were getting an extra 26% crit damage from the Cat's Gaze, as well as 104 attack. And I have this at ignore defense plus 6%. So he's going to be ignoring an extra 16 defense on top of the passive, right, which ignores 15% defense. All right, then anything else? So on his build, guys, his actual gear, I went for as much damage as I possibly could. Of course, we put Pinpoint on him because that speed increase is once again increasing his exact multiplier. And then I just went for like a crit rate set and a cruel set for another 5% ignore defense. Okay, so on this champion, including Helm Smasher, we are getting about what, a 51% ignore defense. Pretty darn good, and that Cat's Gaze is not fully upgraded yet, so that will of course get better. As far as stats go, on the gloves, I went with crit damage, so crit damage here on the gloves, pretty good. Accuracy and speed rolls, he doesn't need the accuracy, but it was there. Crit rate roll. On the chest plate, I went with attack, again, a double speed roll there, as well as crit damage, and 1 crit rate, but no roll into the crit rate really. And then on the boots, I went with speed, has a double crit rate roll, has an attack percent substat. I also gave him Armon's weapon, which is something the optimizer recommended. So I did run this guy through the optimizer in order to get this build. That has a triple speed roll, so pretty darn good. Double speed roll there on the helmet, and triple crit rate roll coming in from his shield. As far as his total stats go, I went ahead and did this. Of course, he is 1-star awakened at this point. He has 37k HP, 5.5k attack, which is the highest attack of anyone on my account, 2k defense, 268 speed, which is the fastest nuker on my account, and we can get him faster with glyphs. Crit capped with 260% crit damage, and those are the stats we care about, guys. Okay, so how is this champion performing? Well, I took him into Clan Boss, guys. I took him into Clan Boss, and this is what we got. He is doing what, 18 million, 17 million, something around that. This is on nightmare difficulty, y'all, and that is going to be 55.78 million damage dealt. Okay, so that's in Clan Boss. What else is he doing? Well, in Hydra, he can come over here and do some fun stuff for us. I did my key last night at the time of recording on stream. He's basically giving us a hard 1-key Hydra team. So he is going in here with 17 million out of a 30 or almost 40 million key. So half of that is the Cheshire Cat. Of course, we've got some Quintus coming in, some Corrigar. That's going to be from War Master and all that good stuff as well. But the Cheshire Cat here, I had him in Heaven Cast at this point, coming in with 17 million damage in hard Hydra. This is not my best Hydra team or anything like that, but that just shows you the strength of the cat because he just makes this entire team work. And if you want to start a brand new Raid Shadow Legends account, you can use my link in the description below. You'll get a free legendary as well as 3 free epics as you progress your account, which is pretty darn good, guys. Okay, what else can he do? Well, he can actually do a lot of work in arena as well. He's a pretty competent, at least, arena nuker. This is the team I've been running around him just for fun. I've got Arbiter here as my speed lead. I've got my Armons, I've got my Kymar, and I've got my Cat. So let's see if we can go in against this team. This will be a very interesting team to fight. We have no Cleanser. Potentially should have taken Podrag. But here we are. We're going to be seeing how this exactly plays out. All right. So we're going to boost with the Arbiter there. We are going to A1 with the Kymar. Interestingly enough, we sheep the Krisk. That is actually pretty nice. We're going to go in with Armons, try to steal some turn meter. We do from the Thessalia. Here is the A3, guys. Here is the A3. Once again, ignoring defense. Pretty hard. This is a super tanky team, guys. This is a super tanky team. So we are doing some pretty good damage considering that, okay? So now we are going to go in with Arbiter's A2, basically an AoE War Master proc is what we're hoping for. We are going to go ahead and try to sleep everybody. Okay, that's chill. And then we've got a massive heal there from Withier. We're going to go ahead and sheep Withier, but she resists it. We're going to go ahead and use the A2 here against the Thalia. We kill her, which is quite nice. We also Veil Armons, which is also quite nice. We want to avoid hitting Krisk here as much as humanly possible. We're going to go ahead and reset our cooldowns, guys. We want to get him, guys, once again, you're seeing that passive boost his turn meter, which is sweet. We're going to sheep Mikage as well. Strips the buffs from the Krisk. I kind of want to kill the Krisk, but the A3 is also super tempting here. I'm going to go with the A3. Nice. Almost kills the Krisk. There's the Soul Reap coming in to kill the Krisk. Quite nice. Haven't run him in arena actually since I switched him into Soul Reap, so that is quite cool. That is putting in that much work. They don't have a Reviver on this squad. And once again, this is a super tanky team, so his damage is good against a darn tanky team. Here is the A2 coming in again. We kill the Withier, guys. We're killing Withier with that A2. That is pretty darn good. Once again, we have a bunch of ignore defense stats built into this champion as well. There's the A1 from Kymar. We're going to try to keep the Mikage stunned, but the cat is so fast that we can just AoE A1 kill her. Guys, that is what we are working with in arena, guys. Cheshire Cat coming in with almost 400k in that little battle, guys, against this pretty darn tanky team. So you probably do want to have a go first team with him, have a speed lead, because once again, that's changing his multiplier. He's going to slap a lot harder. So as far as dungeons go, where am I using this guy in dungeons? Well, I just decided to stick him in my event dungeon team in place of Thor, just because I can, really. Just because I can. He's not as good as Thor for very technical speed reasons. For speed tuning, especially with Kaleth, he's not as good because he's closer to Kymar. That's a whole other topic for a different video, guys, that I probably will do at some point. But he just threw him in the team there. He works as a nuker. He's a very good nuker. Guys, he can also solo Dragon. Oddly enough, he can solo Dragon stage 21, and I have that as well here that I can show you guys. Solos Dragon with food. Again, the Spirit Haste, improving his multipliers, improving his speed. He just has to go 3-1 with the boss, and he has a chance to fail because of the poisons that the boss puts out. This could be solved with like a regeneration set, potentially an immortal set. Once again, we are putting on lay on hands, so that could increase that heal. or it could be solved by just making him faster. He is fast enough at this point to go 3-1 with the boss, which is an insane level of speed. And he does this pretty darn fast. As you can see, it only took 2 minutes and 11 seconds. It's just inconsistent because of the poisons, because the passive won't proc off of poison damage. And if he drops below 20% HP by the poisons and then gets hit before he can heal himself back up, it'll kill him. So the passive will not work if he's below 20% HP, or if he gets below 20% HP from a source of damage other than attack, which is something worth noting. So if you want your Cheshire Cat to solo stuff, which once again he can solo stuff. He can solo dragon, probably lean more towards a regeneration build or an immortal build. Just make sure you have some source of healing. He could definitely like duo it with Elva really fast, or like with your Sill of the Drakes or something really fast, which is just a really cool use case for this champion. Now, along those same lines, he can solo Sand Devil. He has to be super, I haven't done this yet. I've just heard from other people in my live stream chats that he can solo Sand Devil. He has to be super fast to do this, but he can do it once again because of that passive blocking incoming damage. He just needs to run 3-1 with the boss. And this champion is just that cool, guys. He just absolutely slaps. Loads of speed manipulation, all this kind of stuff. And once again, I do recommend that you put some sort of damage boosting relic on him. I think the Cat's Gaze is great. It leans into his kit a lot, but you know, the Malefic Talon, if you don't have that, or something else to give him more damage, guys. All right, well, this was my kind of guide on the cat, kind of what stats you want to prioritize. One more very important point before I end the video. When I was building him and testing builds, as you can see, if you've watched my other videos, I've tested multiple different builds over the course of the couple days since I got him. I did find that speed was a higher priority than attack. So if you have to sacrifice some attack for speed, definitely do that. I think his ideal speed is probably around 300 speed with as much attack as you can get on him. But I didn't have the gear to pull that off and also pull off really good attack. After about, 260 speed, my attack started falling way down. So here's what I've got on the Cheshire Cat. Once again, coming in at 268 speed, my fastest nuker, guys, my very fastest nuker. I quite like him at this speed. Once again, having his speed higher gives him a higher multiplier. It's changing his exact multiplier, which is why the masteries that increase his speed and everything like that are so important. Guys, once again, if you want to start a brand new Raid Shadow Legends account, go ahead, use my link in the description below. To get that started, you'll get a free legendary champion who is also a nuker, Corrado, as well as 3 free epics as you progress your account. Guys, what do you think of the cat? What do you think of the areas I am using him in? I think he could also have a place in Chimera, but that's inactive as of the day I'm recording this, so we can't really see anything there. But guys, what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I have been Felrus, and I will see you in another video.